Hi guys, you're here with Zoe Arthurs from Business Basics. So today I thought we would go through how to identify your business's profitability and efficiency using accountancy ratios. We're going to have a look at a range of ratios that you can use in order to identify how well your business is performing. So we're going to have a look at the different types of ratio, and we're going to understand how to calculate them. I'm going to give you some examples. And it's just important to realise that actually when you're using these accountancy ratios, you don't just use one or two, you actually use the whole package as a means of identifying your own efficiency. And then this is going to allow you to identify where any savings or improvements can be made within your business. So it's an entire package. So please stay along for the whole tutorial, have a look and see where you can make improvements and start to implement them straight away, because it will mean that your business ultimately will become more profitable. So the first one we're going to have a look at is your gross profit margin. Now, there are four profitability ratios that we're going to have a look at, and this is one that is often used just to give a very baseline view of how well a business is performing. Now, it's not the most accurate because, as I say, it doesn't take into account any expenditure, but what it will do is allow you to have a look at the percentage of your gross profits on goods sold after deducting their costs. So it's mainly attributed to your production costs. And anything that you see today in today's tutorial that has a multiply by 100 is always going to be displayed as a percentage. So your gross profit margin is calculated by doing gross profit divided by your revenue and then multiplying it by 100. Now, if your percentage is low, and the higher the number, the better here in terms of your gross profit margin, you could consider increasing your sales, or if that's not possible, perhaps your business is struggling in terms of its products or its services it's trying to sell, you could reduce your costs. So if you have a look at the example at the bottom, if a business has a gross profit of £5,000 and sales of £10,000, what you need to do is your 5,000 divided by your 10,000 and then multiplied by 100. Now you can see on here that the gross profit margin is 50%. That's very reasonable. We'd be quite happy with that. And that basically means for every £1 that the business makes in sales, 50 pence of that is your gross profit. So you're making on average 50%. So if you're happy with that, and in the early stages of business I would be, then you're going to look to consistently increase that. So as I say, the higher the number, the better on this particular ratio. The second one we're going to have a look at is markup. And again, because it's multiplied by 100, it will be displayed as a percentage. And this is the amount that you're going to add to the cost of your production cost in order to create your selling price. And again, it's measured as a percentage of your cost of sales. So you're going to need two figures here, your gross profit figure and your cost of sales figure, in order to calculate this. And again, we're looking for a higher percentage. So the higher the percentage, the better, because that shows the more markup you're making on the profit or on the product or service that you're selling. So if we have a look at the example at the bottom, if your business has sales revenue of 250,000, of course we expect them all to have that, and it's got a gross profit of £50,000, and you multiply that by 100, your markup is 25%. So anything that you're creating or producing, you're actually adding an additional 25% to the selling cost of that, and that is called your markup. Now, if we have a look at the third ratio, this is your net profit margin. Now remember, net profit is after all expenditure. So this is actually a really good indication of how well your business is performing. And your net profit, again, is measured as a percentage of your revenue. So as we've said in previous tutorials, revenue is money coming into the business through selling of your products or services. Now, if your net profit falls year on year, the business may need to reduce its expenses. So if you're ever asked, or ever you're looking at your own businesses and you are comparing one year to another and your net profit margin has decreased, you're going to need to look at where your expenses have therefore increased. And that's what you're going to be looking at reducing primarily. So if we have a look at the example at the bottom, if a business has sales of 75,000 and its expenses, and we say, for example, their rent, rates and wages, as a very crude example, of £50,000, your net profit is 25,000. So in order to calculate your net profit, first of all, what you're going to have to do is minus one from the other. And then you're going to get your net profit margin. So you're going to end up with your leftover figure, if you like, of 25,000. You're going to divide that by your revenue and multiply that by 100. And in this example, it's come out at 33.33% recurring. That basically means that for every £1 of sales, 33 pence of that is net profit, which is again quite a good ratio. So we're always at the moment looking for the higher the percentage, the better in terms of your returns. Now, return on capital employed, or ROCE, is where your investors or yourself perhaps has put capital into the business at the start to produce some cash flow to get the business moving, and you're hoping that that money there is going to enable your business to make a profit. So from this profit, of course, investors are going to expect a return on their investment. And this is often what, if you have ever watched programs like Dragon's Den, this here is the accountancy ratio that they often use to work out whether the percentage they're expecting to receive if they sign the deal is actually worth it in terms of the amount they're putting in. So, as I say, this ratio measures the return on the capital that you're putting in to the business. Okay, so it's the capital as a percentage of capital employed. And the ratio also identifies and shows you how efficient the business uses the investment it's been provided. So again, it's showing you how your money is working based on the injection of capital that you've put in at the beginning. So a high profit from a low investment obviously will mean the business is performing well, and a low profit from a high investment will mean that the business isn't performing well. So the couple of things you need to know is that your net profit here is before interest and tax. Okay, so I say that again, it's before interest and tax, and you're multiplying that by the capital employed, so the amount that you put in at the beginning, and then you're timesing that by 100. Now, as I've said, if it's multiplied by 100, it's always going to be in a percentage format. So if we look at the example I've given you at the bottom, so if two business owners invest £180,000 into a new business venture, in the first year the business shows a profit of £450,000, you'd have to divide one by the other. So you would divide the £450,000, which is going to be your net profit before interest and tax, and you would multiply that by £180,000, which was the capital that they'd put into the venture at the start of the business, and you're going to multiply that by 100. So in this example, it's come out at 250%. So for every £1 of capital your owner or your investor has invested at the very beginning, your owner will then receive £2.50 back, which again is exceptionally good. So we're looking at a higher rate than more than one here. Okay, so for every £1 that they've put in, you're always going to be looking for something which says more than £1, and obviously more than £1, the better. So those are your profitability ratios. And now we're going to have a look at how efficient your business is. So we're going to have a look at a couple of things in terms of your liquidity. That's going to measure your liabilities against your assets. So whether you can pay your bills really quickly and how quickly you can generate cash through selling of stock, etc. So liquidity ratios basically allow you to measure the ability of a business to pay short-term debts. Now, if it's short-term, it's likely that they're only within the business within a 12-month period. And if it's long-term debts, then it's anything over 12 months. So this particular ratio will look at your short-term debts. This ratio is also known as your working capital ratio. So it will either be known as two terms, current ratio or working capital ratio. And as I said, it basically measures a business's assets, so the things the business owns, against its liabilities, the things the business owes. So ideally, in an ideal world, and we know this isn't always the case, a business should have £1.50's worth, very roughly as a crude example, of assets for every £1 it has in debt. And that will be displayed as a ratio of 1.5, obviously semicolon to the 1. So this is, we're moving away from percentages just for the moment, and we are using a ratio format. If a business has less than £1 to 1, i.e. 1.1, it will struggle to pay its debts. Now, in order to calculate current ratio, we do current assets divided by current liabilities, and they can be found on your balance sheet. So if you have a look at the very crude example at the bottom, if we've got £66,000 worth of assets and we've got £42,000 worth of current liabilities, then our ratio on this example is going to be £1.57 worth of assets to every £1. So we know that actually in this instance the business would be able to, if it had to go into liquidation, pay its debts quite easily. Now, this one here is called the liquid capital ratio. It's also known as the liquidity ratio, or you may be familiar with the term acid test ratio, but they all basically mean the same thing. And what this ratio does is it removes stock from the calculation, because for some businesses, stock may be the issue, and it may be the reason that you're not actually able to generate cash quite quickly, and that could be causing your cash flow issues within your business. So what this particular ratio does is actually takes away your inventory and your stock, and it just accounts for other current assets such as cash in hand or cash at bank, for example. And in this example, your ideal ratio is £1 to £1. So if a business has less than this, again, it's going to have problems paying off its debts. But again, we're looking at anything higher than the £1 margin. So £1.50 is a very crude example to £1 debt. But again, we know that's not always possible. So the first part of this ratio is the fact that you have to take away your stock from your current assets, and then again you divide that by your current liabilities. So if in the example below your business has £2,700 tied up in inventory in its stock, but still has current assets of £46,000 and current liabilities of £38,000, you take one from the other and again you divide it by your current liabilities. So in this example £38,000, and then what it will do is it will display, as it has in this example, that it still has in assets in the business more than that £1 mark. So it actually has £1.13 worth of assets in comparison to the £1 it would have in debts. So we know from looking at this that actually if the business did need to liquidate, it could pay its debts, although albeit only just. Okay, so we're going to move on and have a look at, again, another efficiency ratio. So this is basically showing how quickly your business will be able to get money into the business. So efficiency ratios basically show you how well your business is managing its finances and using its stock. Now, trade receivable days measures the average number of days a debtor takes to pay their invoices. So how quickly it is you're managing and getting the money back into the business once you've invoiced them. So in order to calculate this, you have to do your trade receivables divided by credit sales, okay, not cash sales, credit sales, and then you're multiplying it by 365, and the ratio will be displayed in days. So a couple of things to remember here. Payment terms from industry to industry do vary. A higher number of days indicates that the business is not controlling its debt collection. So it could be that you're sending out invoices and then actually you're not chasing them and you're not too worried about how quickly you're getting your money back in. And that will be shown in your trade receivable days. And it shows that actually you're not controlling your debt collection process adequately. So it may result in the future that you're going to run into cash flow problems. So in this example, if your business has trade receivables of 3,210 and it has credit sales of 52,500, you divide one from the other and you multiply that by 365. And in this example, it's come out that actually your trade debtors, so people are paying you on average 22 days after they've received their invoice. Now, if we assume that the standard for a sort of an invoice would be 30 days, actually 22 days we know is quite efficient in this example. Then we have trade payable days, and this is the opposite. So this is how long you take to pay the cash. And basically you do trade payables divided by your credit purchases, and again you multiply that 365. Because it's multiplied by 365, it's going to be displayed in the number of days. So if we look at this example, your business owes its creditors 7,800 and spends 23,580 with suppliers throughout the year. You're showing that actually you're taking 120 days to pay any invoices. Now, in this example, obviously it's very crude and I've chosen this for a reason, but actually this is showing you that you're not managing your cash flow properly, and you're going to run into trouble when you're asking for extended days with suppliers, because actually if you're already taking 4 months to pay one invoice, you're going to run into trouble very, very quickly. Now, as I said, ratios need to be looked at as a whole package, so make sure that you use them all in order to identify how efficient your business is. But I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and hopefully see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!